श्री श्री गौरनाथाय की जय। लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा स्वामी की जय। राधा गोविंद की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया। भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24 and Text 31. Tani eva te abhirupani tanyeva te abhirupani रूपाणि भगवंस तव रूपाणि भगवंस्तव यानि यानि च रोचन्ते यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजनानाम् अरूपिणः स्वजनानाम् अरूपिणः तान्येव तेऽपि रूपाणि रूपाणि भगवंस्तव यानि यानि च रोचन्ते स्वजनानाम् अरूपिणः। Tani, those, eva, truly, te, your, abhirupani, suitable, rupani, forms, Bhagavan, O Lord, tava, your, yani yani, whichever, cha, and rochante, are pleasing, swajananam, to your own devotees, arupinaha, of one with no material form. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: My dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. Please repeat, my dear Lord, although you have no material form, you have your own innumerable forms. They truly are your transcendental forms, which are pleasing to your devotees. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord is one absolute, but He has ananta or innumerable forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. The Lord is the original form, but still He has multi-forms. Those multi-forms are manifested by Him transcendentally according to the tastes of his multi-devotees. It is understood that once Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Ramachandra, said that he knew that Narayana, the husband of Lakshmi, and Rama, the husband of Sita, are one and the same, and that there is no difference between Lakshmi and Sita, but as for himself, he liked the form of Lord Rama. In a similar way, some devotees worship the original form of Krishna. When we say Krishna, we refer to all forms of the Lord, not only Krishna, but Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, Narayana, etc. The varieties of transcendental forms exist simultaneously. That is also stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadimurtishu Nanavataram. He already exists in multi-forms, but none of the forms are material. Sridhar Swamy has commented that Arupinaha, without form, means without material form. The Lord has form, otherwise how can it be stated here, Tani evate abhirupani rupani bhagavamstava. You have your forms, but they are not material. Materially you have no form, but spiritually, transcendentally, you have multi-forms. Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these transcendental forms of the Lord, and being disappointed, they say that the Supreme Lord is impersonal. But that is not a fact. Whenever there is form, there is a person. Many times in many Vedic literatures, the Lord is described as Purusha, which means the original form, the original enjoyer. The conclusion is that the Lord has no material form, and yet, according to the liking of different grades of devotees, he simultaneously exists in multi-forms, such as Ram, Narasimha, Varaha, Narayana, and Mukunda. There are many thousands and thousands of forms, but they are all Vishnu Tattva, Krishna. Tasansta Bhaktivedanta Padpoto Madhyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatadeshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Kardama Muni's prayers to Lord Vishnu, who appeared in his family. Here Kardama Muni is explaining about the Lord's innumerable forms, multi-forms that he accepts, which are very pleasing to Swajananam Arupinaha. He has no material form, but all these forms are transcendental and they are pleasing to the devotees. So the original form is Krishna, Govinda, but then he takes innumerable transcendental forms. He expands into innumerable forms, Anantarupam. And why he does that? Because his devotees, they have a certain taste towards a certain form. Some devotees are attracted to Ramachandra, like here mentioned Hanuman. So the devotees have a certain taste in that relationship with the Supreme Lord's one of the forms. And so to satisfy these various likings of the devotees, different grades of devotees, Krishna accepts these multi-forms. Ramadimurtishu Kala Niyamena Tishtan. So this taste is technically called rasa. In the Vaishnava tradition, particularly in our tradition, this concept of rasa is elaborately been analyzed and described. Rasa means enjoying some pleasure in a relationship. Enjoying pleasure in a relationship. That is rasa. And so, whatever we do, either in this world or in the spiritual world, is for the sake of enjoying some pleasure. And as soon as there is a positive pleasure, there is a taste, then we get hooked on to that. So this rasa is elaborately been explained. For example, a mother is feeding her little young hungry child. She is feeding, and then the child is really very hungry, and then the child takes the food, and then she is happy eating, and she will be making all those sounds she will be making, and the mother is very happy. By seeing the child enjoying the food, the mother also enjoys feeding more and more. She is deriving a certain pleasure in that relation as a mother. And child is also enjoying, mother is also enjoying. Child is actually eating something, there is a gross pleasure, but what is that mother is enjoying? That is also pleasure, but that is a finer pleasure. She is not eating, mother is not eating anything, but the child is eating, but still the mother is enjoying. Similarly, young man, he, after a long education, he gets a job, and then after the first month he gets money. I am saying traditionally, those days, at least in our generation, how a young man thinks is, okay, using this money, let me take some surprising gift to my father and mother. Nowadays, I am not sure. I know how many of them think like this. So let me take a special gift. He takes a special gift, goes to the house, keeps the gift behind, slowly walking. He wants to give the biggest surprise to father or mother or whatever, and slowly then the mother sees, and suddenly he gives a gift. This is my first salary. And then the mother is very happy, and then the boy becomes super happy by seeing that. So there is a pleasure in that relationship, and they try to enhance those pleasures. The boy is not getting any gross enjoyment, nor the mother, but there is a certain pleasure in that relationship. Those are the finer pleasures. Currently, our society has become so fallen. People have forgotten even these pleasures. All these pleasures are called jadarasa. Jadarasa means they are all material in nature, and the symptom is they are flickering. They don't last long. For example, if that young man brings the same gift again, after 1 week, hiding behind, and slowly he comes. This time the mother will say, no, I know what you are. Same gift or something different? She will ask. Already that pleasure is over. But still, these are the sensitive pleasure, even within the Jadarasa. But people have unfortunately forgotten all these pleasures. Now, pleasure means sex, that's all. Everybody, running behind just for the sake of gross pleasure. That is also rasa. In the spiritual world, that's called Adi Rasa, the original rasa. But it is perverted here, and then it becomes the source of all miseries. So, when somebody comes in contact with a spiritual life, then he gets educated about permanent rasas. There is a possibility, there is an opportunity for the human being to pursue something superior, much superior than the Jada rasas. We are all very experienced in Jada rasas, but the jiva has no exposure, forgotten all the transcendental rasas that are possible. But to exchange this permanent rasa, you need a permanent personality. You need a permanent object. As long as we exchange this relational pleasure with a temporary body of this world, that remains Jada rasa, and then it is dissatisfying, because the body is full of ignorance. But if we can exchange our relation with a form which is not only most attractive, but is full of knowledge and full of pleasure, and that form is the form of the Supreme Lord. All the forms of the Supreme Lord are full of pleasure, full of knowledge, and permanent. Most important is that form doesn't vanish away after you exchange, after few exchanges. It doesn't vanish away. So that is why these pleasures are Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. This rasa is Ananda Chinmaya. So exchanging such relational pleasures means one should first identify what is my relation with the Supreme Lord. Like here, the son and the mother, the relation is clear. Son and mother. A small child is there, mother is there. It's a Vasalya. There is a relation has been established. But it's a Jada rasa, because neither the son or the mother will be able to exchange that kind of a pleasure always. The son will grow up and he will say, no, I don't want any food. What you give, I want anyway. So those relationships will not stand. But whereas with the Supreme Lord, the devotee, he establishes his Dasya Bhav, servant, serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is his bhava. And when he in that mood, he relishes pleasure in serving. Actually, he is developing his Krishna consciousness. So each devotee, he gets attracted to a certain form, and then he exchanges some. As soon as he tastes some pleasure, that's all, his devotion becomes fixed up. All the Lord's forms are known as Rucharavatarai. They are very pleasing to the devotees. Very, very pleasing. They want to have darshan. They are very pleased to see the Lord and the mother, and then they are very happy, glorifying their lordships, dancing in front of them, giving them pleasure. This is the devotee's mood. And as soon as he gives pleasure to Krishna, as Krishna is smiling, and then he also becomes, he takes pleasure in that. Like mother is seeing the child smiling, there Radha Govinda. The mother is seeing the child smiling, Similarly, a devotee sees Krishna smiling and then he becomes happy. Taking pleasure in the pleasure of the Lord, that is bhakti. We should be able to take pleasure by seeing Guru happy, Krishna happy. That is bhakti. Let us say you go in front of Prabhupada and say, Prabhupada, today I went for book distribution and this is how we have done it. And you are waiting for Prabhupada to smile. You are telling and then you are observing Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada, let us see, smiles. Oh, that's all right. Very nice. The devotee will be in the sky. He will be flying. He is very happy. This is called bhakti. To see Guru happy, smiling. So a servant is always thinking, how can I make my spiritual master happy? That is his motivation. We have no other motivations. How to become famous, how to get a lot of honor, how to get power. A devotee's motivation is he wants to see a spiritual master happy. And if Prabhupada is happy, we know Krishna is also simultaneously he is smiling. He is smiling bigger than Prabhupada. We should know that Krishna is happy with that. So Prabhupada sometimes used to smile in a very broad smile. That's called oceanic smile. It's like they're very fortunate to see such smiles from Prabhupada. So like that, a devotee, he gets hooked onto this kind of a pleasure. So as we develop this relational pleasure to see Prabhupada happy, Krishna happy, Lord Chaitanya happy, there is no end to this ocean of pleasure. It will constantly go on increasing. How to make Prabhupada happy? By more book distribution? Yes, do it. Prabhupada will say double it. Now you double it and come. Yes, Prabhupada gives one more smile and said, now you double it. Go on increasing. There is no end to this ocean of happiness. So that's why Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu, this is called nectar of devotion. So, and Krishna is known as Rashika Shekhara. He can very expertly relate with anybody, all his devotees. He is Rashika Shekhara. Not easy to relate with others in any relationship. Not easy. Why? Because we have ignorance, and he is also in ignorance, or she is ignorance, and so we don't really understand what exactly some other person requires. He is expecting a little more finer treatment, but let us say the senior or somebody is little more harsh than your expectation. Relationship is already shaking. So this is the situation in this world. Not easy to relate with people, and this particular aspect of relating with the others, particularly relating with the Vaishnavas, this is the most crucial, I would say, skill or expertise that we all have to develop. Not easy. But Krishna is very expert. Krishna is expert, most intelligent, and so he is Akhila Rasamrita Sindhu, is ocean of all relationships, and then he is Rashika Shekhara, and he is expert in exchanging this relationship. So a devotee, when he sees such pleasure, he becomes fixed up in the service of that particular form. Here it is mentioned Rochante Sujananam, very pleasing to own devotees. So these forms are very, very pleasing to the devotees. There is in this Kali Yuga, the form of the Lord, which is very pleasing to the devotees, is Ruchiravatara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So Shastra is saying this is Ruchiravatara, very pleasing to the devotees. Why is it not pleasing to the devotees sometimes? That's only because of jaundice. Otherwise, it is by nature, this avatara is pleasing, full of knowledge. This is Chinmaya Rupa. But why is it not, we are not experiencing? It's because of the jaundice. It is said that the jaundice patient, when he eats a sugar cane, he feels no taste. This looks like a bamboo stick for him. It's not a mistake of the sugar cane. Sugar cane is always juicy and tasty. A mistake of his particular tongue situation. This is a disease, and that is the jaundice that is not allowing us to taste. Now what is this jaundice which is not allowing us to taste Harinam? To develop that relationship, go back to the jaundice example. Jaundice patient, it is said that he sees everything yellow, and his eyes also will become very yellowish, and he sees everything yellow. So similarly, if the devotee, if a person sees everything for his own enjoyment, that is the jaundice. He cannot enjoy service to holy name. He cannot even serve the holy name. So sadhakas means we have crossed that stage of grossly lusting over everything. We understood that we are servants. We started our services, but still jaundice is not completely gone. Jaundice means lording over tendency. Everything is for my enjoyment. The universe is running around me. It is centered around me. Everybody should be thinking of how to satisfy me. They should be sensitive to me. Not that I have to be sensitive to somebody. They all have to be sensitive to me. This is the jaundice which is stopping us. Otherwise, all the forms of the Lord are rochante, swajananam. They are very, very pleasing. So, as there is one example from Chaitanya Charitamrita, that how the devotee becomes attached to a particular form. Like Hanumanji example is given. Hanumanji, he appeared as Murari Gupta in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, and in this occasion Lord Chaitanya himself is explaining how he tested Murari Gupta of his devotion to Lord Ramachandra. Lord himself is explaining. He is glorifying Murari Gupta's devotion to Lord Ramachandra. So he is saying, Murari Guptere Prabhu Karyalingan Tandra Bhakti Nishta Kahena Shune Bhaktagan. So Mahaprabhu embraced Murari Gupta, began to speak about his firm faith in devotional service. Bhakti Nishta. This was heard by all the devotees. So Mahaprabhu is testing his Nishta, Bhakti Nishta of Murari Gupta. Purve Ami Inhara Lobaila Barbar Parama Madhura Gupta Vrajendra Kumar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to entice him about serving Krishna. So he is saying here, Mahaprabhu said, previously I induced Murari Gupta again and again to be allured by Lord Krishna. He is saying, I have tried to Parama Madhur. I said to him, my dear Gupta, Lord Sri Krishna, Vrajendra Kumar is the supreme sweetness, Parama Madhura. Krishna is personification of sweetness, Madhura. Lord Chaitanya is personification of magnanimity. So, Mahavadhanyaya, that is the form of Lord Chaitanya. So, then Swayam Bhagavan Krishna Sarvamshi Sarvashraya Vishuddha Nirmala Prema Sarvarasamaya. Mahaprabhu is now glorifying Krishna. What is he saying? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Swayam Bhagavan, the origin of all incarnation. Sarvamshi. All amshas are coming from Krishna. Incarnations are also amshas, but we are vibhinna amsha, but they are swamshas. So Sarvamshi, Sarvashraya is the source of everything. Vishuddha Nirmala Prema is pure transcendental love itself. Sarva Rasamaya, reservoir of all pleasure. Here Rasa, you see coming again and again. Krishna's form is such that you can derive pleasure. Unlimited pleasures one derives. Yogina, that's a perfect yogi. Then Sakala Sadguna Vrunda Ratna Ratnakara Vidagda Chatura Dhira Rashika Shekara. Krishna is the reservoir of all transcendental qualities. He is like a mine of gems. He is expert at everything. Vidagdha, Chatura, very intelligent, Dhira, sober, and he is the summit of all humors, Rashika Shekara. He is a embodiment of all the rasas. Then Madhura Charitra Krishnera Madhura Vilas Chaturya Vidagdhya Kare Yandra Leela Ras. His character is very sweet and his pastimes are melodious. He is expert in intelligence and thus he enjoys all his pastimes and mellows. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is trying to allure Murari Gupta in telling how Krishna is so special and his service is so special. Say Krishna Bhaja to me, how Krishna, Krishna Shray, Krishna Vina Anya Upasana Mane Nahilai. I then requested Murari Gupta, worship Krishna, take shelter of him, but for his service nothing appeals to the mind. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is inviting Murari Gupta to take ashraya. Ye mata bhar bhar sune vachan amara gaurave kichu firi gelaman. In this way he heard from me again and again. By my influence his mind was a little converted, only little. So let us see what happens. And then Hamare kahena ami tumara kinkar, tumara ajna kari ami nahi swatantar. Then Murari Gupta said, I am your servant, your order carrier. I have no independent existence. Etabali ghare gela chinti ratri kale, Raghunad tyaga chintaya haila vikale. After this, Murari Gupta went home and spent the whole night thinking how he would be able to give up the association of Raghunath, Lord Ramachandra. Thus he was overwhelmed because he was so attached in his association, and then here Mahaprabhu is telling him to give up the association of Ramachandra. He was very overwhelmed. And not only that, Kemane Chadiba Raghunadher Charan Ajiratriye Prabhu Mora Karah Maran. Now he is saying, Murari Gupta then began to pray at the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra. He prayed that death would come that night because it was not possible for him to give up the service of lotus feet of Raghunath. Murari Gupta is saying, better I die today, this night. So you can see how much he is attached to Lord Ramachandra. Emata sarva ratri karena krandan mane soyasti nahi ratri kaila jagaran. Thus Murari Gupta cried the entire night. There was no rest for his mind. Therefore he could not sleep. but stayed awake the entire night. Unable to sleep because he has to give up association of Lord Ramachandra. Pratakale asimora dharila charan krandite kandite kichukare nivedan. In the morning, Murari Gupta came to see me. Catching hold of my feet and crying, he submitted an appeal. He comes back to Lord Chaitanya, catches his lotus feet. While crying, he submits this. Raghunadher Pai Muni Vijaya Chon Mata Kadite Na Pari Mata Mane Pai Vyatha. Murari Gupta said, I have sold my head to the lotus feet of Raghunath. I cannot withdraw my head, for that would give me too much pain. I sold off my head to Lord Ramachandra's lotus feet. Shri Raghunath Charan Chadana Nayai Tava Ajna Bhangahai Ki Karon Upai. So he is saying, not possible for me to give up the service of Raghunath's lotus feet. At the same time, if I do not do so, I shall break your order. Now what can I do now? He is worried between these two. I cannot give up the lotus feet of Lord Ramachandra, nor I can break your order. So what can I do? Ki karon upay. Tate more ye krupa kara dayamai tumara aage mrityu haika hauka samshay. In this way, Murari Gupta appealed to me, saying, kindly grant me this mercy because you are all merciful. Let me die before you so that all my doubts will be finished. Then etasuni ami bada mane sukapailun inhara uthana tabe alingan kailun. Hearing this, I became very happy. I then raised Murari Gupta and embraced him. Mahaprabhu has tested him, so he passed out. Sadhu sadhu Gupta tumara sudruda bhajan amara vachane hai tumara na talila man. I said to him, all glories to you, Murari Gupta. Your method of worship is very firmly fixed, so much so that even upon my request, your mind did not turn. So you can see, Murari Gupta, he is called Sudruda Bhajan, fixed up in his devotion to the transcendental form of the Lord. And he, even though God himself is advising him, Lord Chaitanya is advising him, he says, I will not be able to give up the lotus feet of this should be the devotion. Not that somebody says, we'll give you some health related benefits, auto, car, this, that, and immediately he converts to something else and then gives up the worship of the Lordship. This is very flickering devotion. Such devotees will again drift away from that place also to some other place. If somebody can switch his Lord for the sake of some money, can switch in the future also for the sake of the same money. That is not the devotion. Devotion means, here you can see Murari Gupta's example. He is fixed up, Sudruda Bhajan, fixed up in his devotional service to Lord Ramachandra, the form, the Vaibhava form of Lord Krishna, the Supreme Lord. We'll stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.